Hello everyone. So Dele Farotimi says uh, free speech. Let me paraphrase. It says Nigeria under Tinubu was an Abacha's regime in suppressing free will. Dele Farotimi says you can understand how bad you need to be for Abacha to be better than your time. It shows so much how much of a disaster someone is. Nigerian human rights lawyer Dele Farotimi has stated that Nigeria's current state under the Tinubu-led government is worse than the regime of late Sani Abacha. That's Tinubu-led illegitimate government, by the way. Speaking at a public symposium titled Afenifere Identity, Ideals and Ideology, held on Thursday at the Muson Center in Oniko, Lagos State, Farotimi lamented the decline of the Nigerian state and stressed the urgent need for unity, ideological clarity, and citizen-led action. His words: the challenges Nigeria faces today are not new. When Afenifere was formed 74 years ago, it was a response to existential threats to the Nigerian project, even before the independence. Issues of centralization, calls for separation, and debates around federalism were already alive. Federalism, championed by Chief Obafemi Awolowo and the Action Group, was the middle ground. Farotimi criticizes centralist tendencies that have plagued Nigeria's political structure. What we have today, he said, is one size fits all system imposed by the center. Instead of allowing the diverse nations within Nigeria to flourish, we have a unitary arrangement masquerading as federalism. This structure has stifled development and made life nearly unbearable for many Nigerians. He pointed out the systemic destruction of institutions that once gave citizens a voice. He said every platform that could empower the people had been systematically dismantled. Afenifere, however, still has a role to play if there is to be a future for Nigeria. Afenifere must be at the forefront of challenging the current system that has erased the place of the citizen and undermined the rule of law. With the judicial system compromised and the law rendered meaningless, the lives of all Nigerians, whether Yoruba, Igbo, Fulani, or Ijo, have been devalued. Farotimi decried the state's failure to ensure security, noting we live in a country where armed groups are referred to as hunters, and yet no one knows who or what they are hunting. Citizens sleep with one eye open or don't sleep at all because the state has failed in its most basic duty, the protection of lives and property. The institution is ignored at will, and governance is marked by illegitimacy and arbitrariness. Drawing historical parallel, Farotimi referenced the 1993 political crisis following the annulment of the presidential election. After General Abacha took power on November 17, 1993, Nigerians across the country were aggrieved. Different groups had different complaints, but Afenifere served as a binding force, leading the formation of NADECO and pushing back against military tyranny. Today, the situation is even worse. In 2023, just like 1993, the will of the people has been disregarded, and that puts the very foundation of society at risk. According to Farotimi, Afenifere's duty is to awaken Nigerians to the common nature of their suffering and help forge a united front. For me to just stay here, I think that's the biggest part. That's the what has been most difficult for people to understand the common nature of their problem. The fact that you're Hausa does not mean your problem is different from Yoruba person or Igbo person or an Edo person or a Nupe person or a Isako person or it's a Sekiri person or Kanuri person. The problem is the same and we're all facing the problem. And so if we can understand all of this and realize that we all are facing the same problem, then we should focus in solving those problems. When all the problems that we collectively face are solved, then we can go back and begin to say, hey, you are different tribe from me, you're different religion from me. Right now, we are faced with the same problem. We are faced with insecurity. We are faced with lack of jobs, unemployment. We are faced with lack of food. We are faced with lack of electricity, lack of good road, lack of basic quality education, lack of good healthcare system. We're faced with so much, and we're busy fighting because we are different in tribe and religion. Who cares about your tribe and religion? That's your personal business. Let's talk about the ones our common, enemy and problems that we have. Farotimi said, if we allow ourselves to be distracted and divided, we lose our ability to seek freedom. Those who benefit from our disunity do so by diminishing not just our civic rights, but our humanity. Afenifere must now offer a platform for all Nigerians, regardless of the ethnic background, to come together. It was never founded for the Yoruba alone, but for all Nigerians. It was founded to save us from ourselves. I still hear Baba's voice telling us, go and organize yourselves. He never stopped calling for unity and self-organization. Today, we honor him, not just in words, but through action. What do we do with his legacy? What we do with his legacy is now in our hands. Afenifere is extending a hand to all Nigerians to work with us, to find common ground and purpose so that we may save ourselves from the crisis that engulfs us. This situation is not desirable, but it is not irreversible. He added. Oh my goodness. It's I don't even know what to say. There's really nothing to add towards this. It's just for us to understand this problem. Even the people that fought for our independence, they are having to live and die and see all the fight they did is almost as if it was for nothing. 60 years after, Nigeria has not been able to get itself together. We're still, this is where we still are. Are we not tired? Are we not ashamed? Are we not angry? When are we going to say enough is enough and actually come together and work together and fight for a better country for all of us? When? The ball is in our court. Like Mr. Dele Farotimi said, we have to save ourselves from ourselves. Because at the end of the day, we are the problem. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.